Welcome back to Good Health Gardens. I love a good Alfredo sauce, but what I don't love is the 850 plus calories that can come with using heavy cream. I'm going to show you how to make this recipe with no heavy cream and a fraction of the calories. Shrimp Alfredo coming right up. This recipe uses whole milk instead of heavy cream. The first thing I do is prepare the shrimp, shell and devein them, and then butterfly the shrimp. This really helps them to cook more evenly and they look beautiful when they're done. Make sure the water is boiling before you put the pasta in to cook. This is a homemade linguine, and it cooked in 12 minutes, about the same length of time as store-bought linguine. And when you've cooked your pasta for about the time you think it should, test it. That's really the only way you can know it's done to your likeness. Just take a piece, pinch it off, put it in your mouth. And when the pasta is done, drain it, then rinse it in cold water. That will stop the cooking process. Rinse it 3 times, drain it each time, and when you're finished, go ahead and put it aside. And what this does is it helps your sauce to stick to the pasta, but the pasta does not stick to itself. We use a basic saute method to cook the shrimp. Make sure your pan is hot, that's really important. Test it with some water, and then put your butter in. Make sure your butter is hot before you put the shrimp in. Shrimp doesn't take very long to cook. And as soon as they start turning pink, turn them over and cook them on the other side. 2 or 3 minutes is plenty for the shrimp. And when the shrimp are done, take those out, and then you're ready to saute your onions and garlic. Sometimes I use garlic that's already cut up and is preserved in olive oil. That's what I'm using here. But you can use fresh garlic also. Saute the garlic and the onions until the onions are starting to caramelize and the garlic is starting to get brown. You don't want the garlic too brown. Then add your flour, 2 tablespoons of flour. This is what makes your roux. Flour and the fat of butter. That's what makes your roux. And when your roux is about the consistency of wallpaper paste, it's time to add your milk. Add cold milk. This gets the fond up off of the bottom of the pan, and your sauce will start to thicken. Add your milk a little bit at a time. Add milk, stir it, let it thicken. When you see how thick it is, if you need to add more milk, go ahead and do that. And this is a point at which you will start seasoning your sauce. I use white pepper instead of black pepper, just because I don't want those black flakes in my sauce. Also add salt, oregano, and basil. You can add the powdered basil and the powdered oregano. Those will blend in nicely with this milk, with this sauce. But I also like to use fresh oregano and fresh basil if I have it. But this time I only had fresh oregano, and I just cut it right into the sauce. This looks like a lot of oregano, but I like a lot of oregano. And when you're using fresh, you need to use about 3 times what you would use for the powdered. When your sauce is just right, add your noodles. Stir those in, Stir them until all the noodles are coated with that wonderful, wonderful sauce. And when the noodles are coated, then add your shrimp. And yes, that little bit of liquid. All the flavoring you can get. Stir this until everything is well coated. And when you plate the fettuccine, make sure you have some shrimp on top. And I like to grate a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top of my fettuccine. Some people use Parmesan in the sauce, but I like to just grate it on top. And this is a delicious meal with a salad. Enjoy.